Hi everybody, this is Sarah Sanchez. I'm just going to do a quick tutorial for you today on Nearpod. This is actually a web-based application. You do need to make sure that you have a 1-to-1 ratio for your classroom if you do decide to use this application for a presentation. So if you look at the right-hand side, I'm going to go ahead and sign in here. This is just at nearpod.com. And it's going to take me to my library. Now, I already have quite a few presentations. I actually was introduced to this year, and I really find it's great with the students. They really love the interaction. And I'm just going to show you what one of these presentations look like. The real reason why I love this application is because it gives you real-time checking for comprehension. I know in our discussions there's been some questions about how do you check for comprehension. So there are other options in here where you can upload PowerPoints that you already have, whether in PowerPoint or in Google Slides. Again, if you are interested in something like that, I would definitely go to nearpod.com and look at the tutorials, which will show you how to do that. So this is one of my presentations. You can see that you can see my slides, and then you can also see what's called activities. I generally like to use polls and open-ended questions to check for comprehension, really just to make sure the students are either paying attention or they're getting the information that I want them to get. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and open up one of my slides here. This is just a little bit of background information to the Anglo-Saxon time period, and I'll be talking about Roman occupation. And so on the next slide, I'm actually going to have a poll asking them how long Roman conquerors and Julius Caesar remained in Great Britain. So if I go over here to my poll question, how many years did Rome occupy Britain, students would actually have a different page that would come up in front of them, but they would have these 4 options here. And you would get immediate feedback. You can actually see the polls up on your screen in the front of your classroom. A lot of times the students do almost like a competition to see who can get it done quicker. And it actually goes into a report at the end of your live session. So it's really great for that immediate feedback, again, to check to make sure they're paying attention. There's a lot of fun activities you can use. You could do open-ended questions, which has the students actually take a little bit more time to respond to whatever question you may be asking them. There's also a really fun one that I like to use, which is Draw It, where students may, for example, this particular one was to draw what they thought a typical monster looked like during the Middle Ages, and that's actually really fun. The students really get engaged. They can add color. It kind of just breaks up the monotony of a presentation of just straight lecture. And then at the end of your presentation, you can add things like a quiz. I'll have a short little, maybe a 10 question quiz that will go over the entire presentation just to make sure that they comprehended, and then I can check myself to see if there's anything that I missed or something else that I need to go back and check on. The only drawback I would say for this particular program is if you do decide to upload your own PowerPoint. I'm going to open a slide for you. If you decide to do your own PowerPoint, you can't really edit it yourself. You can delete it. You can add text in here, but it kind of defeats the purpose because it goes over the top of the text. But you could add in images or even audio. You can actually assign these presentations to be done at a later time. So for example, homework, if you're going to go for more of a flipped classroom style, you can assign this for homework and then maybe add in your lecture through the audio option for each of the slides to help them through the presentation. But again, that's just a small drawback to this. I think this is more engaging than PowerPoint. I've actually really started using it a lot this year and find that the students are more engaged in the presentations and comprehending much more as opposed to me just doing straight lecture. The other thing is that you can add a lot of different types of activities here, whether you want to do virtual tours. And again, there's a lot of other options. This is just the free version, but you can definitely upgrade to another version where it just gives you much more options. So again, if you're interested in this, I am I think definitely take the time just to explore it a little bit more. There's just so much. It's not enough to put into a 3-minute video, but definitely go back and look at some of the tutorials that they have actually here on their website. Again, one of the key things is that you have to make sure that you do have one-to-one in your classroom, whether it be through Chromebooks, or they can even access this website through their phones, because they are going to have it at a point where they enter in a code for their presentation, and they're going to have to view it one-on-one. The last thing, just really quickly, I wanted to point out is this button up here at the top, which is reports. You actually have an area that's going to collect all of your data for you every time a single student accesses the presentation, whether it be at home or a live session. And it's going to store for you all of the different sessions, the times, because you can go back and access these later. And then it's going to give you the output for that data: how many people participated, how many questions were wrong, how many were right, for each of the different styles of questions. It'll give you the list of all your students, what their overall participation rate was, and so forth. And I find this really helpful, especially when you're trying to go back in to figure out a grade for their grade book. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope you definitely look into this. Again, it's nearpod.com.